Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom, nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, a story unfolded that would be told for generations. This is the tale of a young girl named Rapunzel, whose name became legendary, not just for her royal blood, but for her magnificent, long golden hair. Imagine hair so long and so radiant that it flowed like a shimmering waterfall from the highest window of the lonely tower she called home. But how did she end up there? Well, Rapunzel's story began many years ago, on a joyous day when she was born to the loving king and queen of the land. The entire kingdom celebrated the arrival of the new princess, but their happiness was short-lived. A wicked witch, driven by selfishness, saw something special in the baby girl. One dark night, she crept into the castle, stole the infant princess from her cradle, and vanished into the shadows. The witch took the child to a place hidden deep within a dense dark forest, and there she named her Rapunzel. The witch raised Rapunzel in complete isolation, inside a tall imposing stone tower. This tower was a strange prison. It had no doors and no stairs, just a single small window right at the very top. It was impossible for anyone to get in or out. Rapunzel grew up knowing only the witch and the four walls of her room. Her only connection to the world outside was through that small window and her incredibly long hair, which grew and grew year after year, shining like spun gold. Every day, when the witch wanted to enter the tower, she would stand at the base, look up at the high window, and call out in her raspy voice, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Hearing the familiar call, Rapunzel would gather her heavy, golden braids, secure them to a hook by the window, and let them tumble down the stone wall. The witch would then grab onto the thick braid and climb up, using Rapunzel's own beautiful hair as her personal rope. For years, this was Rapunzel's life. She spent her days singing sweet songs that echoed through the forest. Her voice as beautiful as her hair. She would read books, paint pictures on the walls, and dream of the world she could only glimpse from her window. She often wondered about the twinkling lights she saw in the distance at night, never knowing they were the lanterns her heartbroken parents released every year on her birthday. Praying for her safe return, Rapunzel was lonely, but she was kind and hopeful, her spirit as bright as her golden tresses. She longed to feel the grass beneath her feet and to see what lay beyond the endless sea of trees. One fateful day, a handsome prince was riding through that very forest. He was drawn by the sound of the most enchanting singing he had ever heard. He followed the melody until he arrived at the mysterious tower. He saw no way in and was completely mesmerized. He returned to the forest day after day, hiding behind the trees, just to listen to Rapunzel's beautiful voice. He was captivated and determined to meet the girl who sang with such longing and beauty. Then, one evening, as he was hidden amongst the trees, he saw the old witch approach the tower. He watched in astonishment as she called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," and saw the incredible golden braid fall to the ground. He watched as the witch climbed up and disappeared into the window. Suddenly, the prince understood the secret of the tower. His heart beat with excitement. He had found a way to meet the mysterious singer. He waited until the witch had left. Then, gathering all his courage, he stood at the bottom of the tower, and trying to mimic the witch's voice, he called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel, thinking it was the witch returning, let her long hair down once more. But you can imagine her surprise when, instead of the old witch, a handsome young man with kind eyes climbed into her room. At first, she was frightened, having never seen another person besides the witch. But the prince spoke to her gently, telling her how her singing had touched his heart and how he had longed to meet her. Rapunzel listened, and for the first time in her life, she didn't feel so alone. They talked for hours, and soon, they fell deeply in love. The prince began visiting her every evening after the witch had gone, and with each visit, Rapunzel's dream of freedom grew stronger. They made a plan. The prince would bring a skein of silk with him on each visit, and Rapunzel would weave them into a ladder, strong enough for her to climb down and escape her lonely prison forever. Their hearts were filled with hope for a future together, a future beyond the tower, out in the wide, wonderful world. Thank you so much for joining me for this classic fairy tale. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more magical tales. See you next time.